good evening, and welcome to the Frankly Speaking Show. Tonight, we're going to be talking a little bit about crowdfunding. Sometimes referred to as crowdsource funding, when everyday people like you and I choose to donate money to kickstart independent creative projects that might not get a chance to start up otherwise. Usually, these are projects that we think will benefit communities, people. According to recent reports, crowdfunding has now grown from a $1 million industry in 2010 into a multi-billion-dollar industry. And by 2016, it will even outpace venture capital funding. That is absolutely mind-boggling. Crowdfunding is a great way to fund creative projects by independent creators, like mine, for example, with the support from community backers like you. Projects run the gambit, including art, comic books, video and film, inventions, theater, dance, and on and on. The sky is the limit, but creativity has no limits. And there's a lot of untapped and awesome ideas out there. Crowdfunding to the rescue. Checking a crowdfunding site like Kickstarter, for example, you'll see overwhelming support for the development of games and getting them to market. These creators routinely raise millions of dollars quickly in crowdsource funding from many, many backers. Games are hot. After games, film and video also have great success with crowdfunding. But backers beware, however, as the FBI has recently begun taking on a growing number of fraud cases in the crowdsource funding industry. When project creators don't follow through on completing their projects and run off with the donations, duping hundreds or even thousands of backers that hope to be a part of something wonderful and creative, beneficial for the community. This is why my Kickstarter project, I wanted to kickstart it myself to establish good faith and show commitment to reaching the project goals. The Frankly Speaking Show is a progressive talk show that will highlight events of importance that impact millions of people each and every day, including you and me. As commentator of the show, I hope to present controversial, yet currently relevant topics that both directly and indirectly touch everyone, whether politics, education, culture, human rights, freedom of speech, and so forth. The list goes on. But more importantly, the show will provide a platform for dialogue, not debate. The aim is to reach collective understandings through diverse perspectives, not to champion winners. That's not the goal. Each week, a focused question will be thrown out there, will be highlighted for community discussion. Without global dialogue, we have very little. So can we work together to promote more of it, you and I? No, I know it's not a board game. It's about finding answers to pressing local and global issues. Often, in my style, which is an irreverent manner for spice and raising dander. Raising one's dander now and then is not a bad thing, it's a good thing. It's a byproduct of beneficial change. One of the interesting things that I have noticed in my social networks is an overprotected and much guarded reluctance by many to introduce controversial topics. Don't rock the boat is the ordinary protocol, even to the point that many publish the do's and don'ts of proper posting, which always includes not talking about politics, not discussing religion, not addressing human rights in any way. You're supposed to stick to cat videos and safe, non-controversial topics like vegetarian recipes, which I love, and gardening, which I don't so much. I find this curious because controversial issues are some of the most important and pressing topics that we should be talking about collectively. Shouldn't we? Complacency and silence and just sitting back aren't the answers. They never have been. And the good news is that the internet is the quintessential place and platform for dialogue and sharing ideas. So, well, anyway. Okay, so moving on a little bit about me personally. I'm sure some of you are thinking, wondering, who is this guy? My road in life has been varied indeed, and I feel very fortunate for that. After studying at several different universities, working as a Q-cleared analyst for the U.S. government on Capitol Hill, living both inside and outside of the United States, and eventually moving on to and then retiring from the University of California, I have been exposed to a lot of diverse peoples and situations, but in my active retirement years, I have also been a university English professor after going back to school myself in my 50s to earn yet another college degree, this time in languages. The interesting part for me, however, is that this post-retirement career has really opened my eyes and my mind concerning the importance of language and communicating. And better yet, the essential role that controversy, conflict, critical thinking, and dialogue have in addressing and expanding ideas and coming to better community-based solutions. And yes, I am opinionated, I admit it. But I'm opinionated in a very reasoned, passionate, and often theatrical way. Hence my interest in hosting the Frankly Speaking show. I guess what I'm trying to say is this. Is backing projects that introduce dialogue onto the world stage really worth it? Do we already have enough of it, or do we need more board games? If we don't talk and expand our thinking, where are we going to be in the future? We have issues like ISIS, religious extremists that are wanting to govern states, education being privatized and far out of reach for many young people, discrimination of smaller groups by larger ones, big corporations and banks controlling the economy, corrupt politicians bankrolled by big money and radical conservatives, and on and on. Shouldn't we be discussing more about these issues in public forums, not less? I think so. I hope you do too. The budget projection for my crowdfunding Kickstarter project is not overwhelming. I realize that. And yet, for what may seem to be an insignificant, small little project, it does have great potential to facilitate global dialogue, much needed to create a better world and to be better people, global citizens. Would you like to be a part of this process in a little tiny but meaningful way? I hope so. Additionally, it would be remiss not to contrast the amount of progressive talk out there in both mainstream and independent venues against ultra-conservative talk. Extremist talk is reaching and influencing young minds. Vitriol that is not creative, not based on critical thinking, not divergent, not inclusive, and drowning in dogma, not reason. Look at Glenn Beck, Sean Hannity, Rush Limbaugh, Bill O'Reilly, I'd rather not look at him, Sarah Palin, etc. Well, I can't list them all, so just take a look over my shoulder here. So how about taking a look again at my proposal? Radical conservative talk goes well beyond simply Fox News anchors. There are scores of hate-filled blogs and video programs that are working hard to capture and brainwash audiences, the formative young and the old alike. Should we do something, anything, to counter this, to push back, to educate? Well, I am. And I hope that you can join me because every little bit helps in the ethical shaping of Mother Earth and making it a much better place to live in. So please, take another look. If you haven't done so already, take a look at my Kickstarter project. Weigh the costs and the benefits and see if you could help turn the tides. Maybe even by just encouraging others to get on the internet and expand progressive talk beyond what we see now. More and more dialogue, not debate, not dogma, really does make a difference. As an English teacher, I'm sure of it. The Frankly Speaking Show funding goal must be reached in less than 25 days. That's it. By donating early on, you encourage others to donate too, by starting a snowballing effect. It won't take long or many contributors backing this project to reach the outstanding funding goal of only $1,870. I've already funded the first $3,000 myself. But then I thought, this is for the community. So shouldn't I bring the community in? At least give the community an opportunity. You can find a link to both the Kickstarter project and my website below. Please take a look at the project's frequently asked questions found at the Kickstarter link below for more details about the project scope and budget. You can even watch the pilot episode. There is much more to do beyond where we are today to enhance the show and keep it going. Let's do this together in the spirit of crowdfunding worthy and creative projects. You only get charged if the entire funding goal is met anyway. So either way, you won't lose. Thank you, and see you the next time on the Frankly Speaking Show.